Today's labor laws and our working conditions are due to some important events that happened. And one of them is the Triangle Shirtwaist Factory Fire that happened 100 years ago in New York City on March 25th, 1911. And this story is in honor of what happened then. And I titled it March 25th, 1911. I was there on the day of the fire, March 25th, 1911. I was one of the workers to the factory. I was just like all the other workers. Female, young, poor, an immigrant, supporting a family. Not my own, but my siblings. My parents didn't make enough. And we made popular shirts back then. They were blouses that working women liked to wear. And we made that. And we didn't have the best working conditions because we weren't important to the boss. And there were girls who were telling us to join unions and to fight for our rights, for better working conditions, but I didn't think it was important. I mean, we all had our families to help. We couldn't risk our jobs. So I just brushed them off. I was there on the day of the fire, March 25th, 1911. When you enter the building, or at least our factory, you can hear the whir of machines working. So many people working. There's rows and rows and rows of sewing machines. And you can see all the girls hunched over their sewing machine. So many girls, shoulder to shoulder. And their eyes were red. Our eyes did burn. Just looking at the cloth sewing. And the lighting was so dim. We would work such long hours, and the lighting was dim. They didn't like to give us breaks. We would have to beg just to use the restroom. We would work more than 8 hours. They didn't really want to give us lunch breaks. So we were tired. They even locked us up. They didn't trust us. They thought that we would steal. So they locked us. I was there on that day of the fire, March 25th, 1911. They said that the fire started from someone's cigarette and that it caught on the scraps of cloth, the piles of cloth that we've been telling the manager, the bosses about how dangerous it was to pile up, but no one listened to us. We found out about the fire because we heard screams of fire. And then that was when everyone started to panic. And they rushed to the doors, but it was locked. And people got even more scared. And they were pushing against each other. And then the smoke and the heat came. and people pressed against each other. Everyone's jam-packed. And something was, I was just thinking, we were like sardines. Silly, huh? And then people fell. And they were trampled upon. Everyone was so scared. I was lucky. I escaped on the elevator. But it wasn't enough room for everyone. Not everyone was saved. Some people jump out the windows. And we were on the 8th, 9th, 10th floor. And they jumped. Someone up to the roof. I was there on the day of the fire, March 25th, 1911. I remember how relieved it was. I was happy that I was alive. All I had were minor burns, and I just inhaled too much smoke. But I lived. And then I turned back to look at the building, and it was just ablaze with fire. It was just ablaze with fire. And I saw bodies. They were falling down, burning. It was just horrible. And I remember screaming, help them, to the firefighters, and the crowd, and the police, but they couldn't do anything. I couldn't do anything. And I couldn't do anything to help them. They were my coworkers, my dear friends. I spent so much time with them, but I couldn't do anything. I couldn't do anything. I was there on that day. Fire, March 25th, 1911. I wanted to close my eyes, but how could I? It wasn't right. They were suffering so much. How could I close my eyes? So I watched and cried and cried. And I was just thinking, why didn't I listen to those girls? Maybe my one voice could have made a difference. Or perhaps it wouldn't have. But if I was able to save one life out of the 146 that died that day, I would have listened. I would have. I was there on that day of the fire, March 25th, 1911. I was there.